Kirwan's Game Store, the best place in gaming.
Welcome everybody, my name is Alexander Skank and I am here to be the voice for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Regional Legacy of the Valiant. I'm here at Kirwan's Game Store in Catskill, New York, and today we have 227 players. It's going to be 8 rounds of Swiss, and we're gonna go to a standings. I'm going to be able to answer any questions you guys might have. Feel free to hit us up at Twitter at Kirwan Game Store, or check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/Kirwan Game Stores. Right now, I'm going to be taking you guys to our round 1 feature match. And right now, looks like it's going to be Chris Woolheater on the left of the screen. And we are going to have Joe Girolando on the right. I do not know what they're playing, but once I get that information from my judge, I will put that up on top in the description for you. Looks like they are finalizing everything, getting ready, set to go. Looks like we should be able to start this match very soon. Alright, I can tell just by looking at the starting hand for Chris Woolheater on the left, it looks like he's playing Gear today, so let me throw that up in the description there. Gear is a top choice for the event right now in the game.
Welcome to round 1. You may begin.
Alright, here we go. Looks like we've started off with a Gear Arsenal, which was tributed to special summon a level 4 Gear from his deck, and that was Gear Armor. Used its effect to flip itself face down, and he set 2 and passed. Alright, hard to tell what it looks like what he's playing against. Maybe once Joe plays a card or two, I'll be able to get that information to you guys. Alright, if you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to throw those in the chat. I've got the chat right here with me, plus you can put them on Twitter. I can definitely respond to those as well. Alright. Let's see. Alright, we got Joe Girolando opening up with a Mind Control targeting Gear Armor. And he's going to flip it face up. Let's see if there's any response to this. And Chris Woolheater responds with Fiendish Chain, targeting the armor, negating its effect. Let's see what he has. Okay, it looks like Joe Girolando also is playing Gears. So let me get that up there for you guys. Special summoning Gear Accelerator from his hand. If you control a Gear monster, you can special summon Gear Accelerator. Alright, looks like we now have an overlay, which is going to go right into an Exceed monster. Looks like he's thinking about what he wants to do. Normal play here would probably be to maybe go to a Gear Giant X, which is exactly what he did. And he falls into a bottomless trap hole. I'm not sure, but I believe Gear Giant X might have his effect trigger. No? Okay. So Joe follows it up with a summoned Gear Arsenal, which is what we saw Chris play turn 1. It's tribute to search for a Gear monster, and then you get 200 attack, base attack of 1500. You get 200 extra attack for every Gear monster on the field, so it comes out and it starts at 1700. He looks like he attacked for 1700, so I'm gonna put that up there for you guys. So Chris is now down to 6,300, and then he followed it up with a main phase 2 tribute to go get Gear Armor, and he set it. And then he followed it up with 1 set card and a spell trap. And now it's back to Chris. Let's see if Chris has any follow-up play here. Alright. He's definitely thinking here. I know I saw 2 MK2s in his hand, so that definitely hurts his abilities to play Gear, which is, the card that really made Gears near the top of the tier. Special summoning 2 of the level 3 Geargias from the deck and making them level 4, pretty much being the one card exceed this deck needed to get rolling. Before that, a lot of people, the only way the deck was really played was focusing more on the Karakuri variant using Watchdog and Strategist. Okay, here we go. He had the Geargiano in his hand, which means pretty much that would make his Geargio gear unlive. He uses Geargiano's effect to special summon Geargia from grave, getting armor. Then he special Geargia Accelerator, which special summons if you control a Geargia, and he's stacked to Gear Giant X. He looks like he's detaching from Gear Giant X. I think that was Geargia Arsenal. He detached Geargia Arsenal and added it back with his with Gear Giant's effect. He looks like he then attacked the Geargia Armor, triggering its effect, because Geargia Armor will get its effect regardless of how it's flipped up. Most people don't know that. People who aren't familiar with the deck will just attack into that, not realizing that it's when it's flipped face up, which can be, you know, flip summon, a card effect, battle. Alright, and then let's see, he passes after destroying it, and it looks like Joe has an end phase Gear, the card I was just talking about. Now what this is going to do is it's going to special summon 2 level 3 Gear monsters from his deck, and then it's going to increase both their levels by 1, so he's going to have 2 level 4 Geargiano MK2s. This is a pretty standard play for the deck. It pretty much lets you, it pretty much gives you a free Exceed monster, which 9 out of 10 times is going to be your Gear Giant X, which is going to search for something to help you continue with your plays. Depending on the game state, you could go to something like a Dagusto Emerald, which is slowly creeping up there in popularity amongst Gear players because of the fact that you can simply just, if you used up too many of your level 3 Geargianos, you can use it to put 3 of them back into his deck and draw an extra card, so it's a mini pot of avarice. And it allows you to make the second and third copies of Gear incredibly live. So he looks like he's thinking right now about what he's going to do here. No back row. I don't really I don't see how he doesn't want to just, you know. I know he's. Let's see it. I just think he should make another Gear Giant X. But I really don't have any idea what the cards are in his hand. I think he might have another Accelerator, which would mean he could make a Gear Giant X, search, then make something else, and follow it. Make something else to maybe get around the Gear Giant. Let's see what he does here. Definitely doing some calculations. Maybe he's got an idea on how he can either put lethal on board or just put himself in a position where he's just in total control. Because right now he's sitting on what looks to be 4 in hand and 2 on field to Chris's 3 in hand, spent Fiendish Chain and a Gear Giant X. All right, let's see what we got here. Those of you who are familiar with the ARG stream will recognize George Orlando. He does a lot of their streams. He's pretty much one of the better players in the country as well. He's topped a lot of major events. So this is definitely a big chance for Chris Woolheater to make a name for himself and get an established win over a top guy. Alright, and just like I thought, he went right to the Gear Giant X. Let's see what he does here. He activates. Do we have a possible response? Nope, okay. So it's just choosing which MK2 he'd like to discard, maybe, or detach from the Gear Giant to activate its effect. Now let's see what he does here, because Gear Giant X can allow you to detach a material to add a Gear monster, or add a machine type monster from your deck or your graveyard. So pretty much he can as long as he has a legal target in grave, he can detach a material and re-add that material. It looks like he just added back the Gear Accelerator. Alright, now here's MK2. Now what MK2 does is 1000 attack, 500 defense. It allows you to special summon a Gear monster from your hand or graveyard. And it looks like he brought out the MK2 that he just detached. Now that MK2 is now back at level 3, so he has a potential rank 3 play here. I saw Giga Brilliant in the extra there. That would definitely be a card to think about, or a Tempo here. Tempo wouldn't be wouldn't be very good because of the fact that Tempo wouldn't be large enough to destroy the Gear Giant X. Alright, so it looks like he's going to make the Giga Brilliant and detach, which is going to give all monsters currently on the field 300 attack. So now Gear Giant X is at 26, so we got 2100 attack Giga Brilliant and 300 over the Gear Giant X for a grand total of 2400 damage, taking Chris Woolheater down to 3900 life points. Joe is really in a really good advantageous state here. Let's see if he has any. Nope, it looks like does he have any main phase 2 additions to his back row or his field? Let's see. Well, he's definitely got 4 in hand. I mean, this is a pretty rough board to try and get yourself out of. I mean, Chris is pretty much relying on 4 cards at this point to try and find his way out. And let's see, it looks like I think he drew a MK2, which would be able to give him his Geargiano back. And since MK2 doesn't negate the effect of the monster it brings out, you can bring out the MK2 and you contribute it to special summon either your armor or your arsenal if you wanted to make a potential rank 4 play. Let's see what they got going on here. Alright, looks like Chris is definitely, perusing his extra deck here, looking for some kind of an out. If he can make a rank 4 here, I think Exciton Knight is the play. Only because it would remove the useless Fiendish Chain, but it would take the 2 monsters off board. And Exciton Knight is easily probably the most dangerous rank 4 in Yu-Gi-Oh! As it sits right now. Generic status means any deck that goes rank 4 can play it, but it also is a Judgment Dragon for every deck, and it can definitely get you out of a tight spot if need be. Alright, so it looks like he did summon the MK2, bringing back Geargiano. Geargiano attributed to activate its effect to special summon a Gear from Grave, and to negate that effect. So he's got a Geargia armor face up on the field whose effect can't be activated. And he did special Geargia Accelerator, so it looks like he is going to try and go for the rank 4 play. Is it going to be the Exciton Knight? And oh no, it's Honor Arc. That's a very good card to bring over, because what that'll do is that will take Gear Giant X off the field, but not let it trigger its effect. So he uses Honor Arc to absorb the Gear Giant X, and then he uses the protection given to Honor Arc there because it has a material attached, and he used it to crash into the Giga Brilliant there. Since they both had 2100 points, Giga Brilliant would be destroyed, and he would simply detach a material, leaving him with a 2100 attacker, and it gave him a free shot at Joe's life points right there. So now Joe went down to 7,000, and he passed turn with 1 back row. Joe had the MST. All right, 7 tools, definitely a bluff at this point. I really can't see 7 tools in the game state as it looks to me right now. I can't really see that being too relevant right now. So he definitely was just trying to maybe set one to put Joe back a little bit, maybe make Joe have caution. But Joe having the MST and knowing the Fiendish Chain is doing nothing for Chris right now, pretty much just gives Joe, okay, I have 4 cards in my hand, and I have the ability to pretty much do whatever I want, unless Chris happens to be playing Valor. I know most Geargia builds, especially the pure version that runs anywhere from 17 to 20 traps, typically they don't run anything outside of the standard Geargia lineup, which is your 3 Geargia gear, 3 Geargia armor, Geargia accelerator, 3 arsenal, 3 MK2s, the 1 Geargiano, and then sometimes I've seen people teching a 1 copy of Thunder King as a potential card that can really help blow out your games. Alright, so we've got Geargiano summoned, and since Geargiano is a Geargia monster, he special summons Geargia Accelerator. And now let's see Joe is thinking here. He definitely has a rank 4 play here by simply tributing to Geargiano and targeting any one of his level 4 Geargia monsters in Grave. So let's see what he does here. Let's see, do I have any questions from anybody? Nope, I have nothing so far. So right now it looks like he's definitely going to tribute, and he brings back the Geargia armor. Now remember, Geargia armor's effect is negated, so it cannot flip itself face down. But if it ends up getting flip face down, it will regain its effect upon flip summoning. Okay. Oh my lord. Oh my god. There you go. Joe just put the rest of his hand on the table, revealing he had 2 more Gear accelerators in his hand. Now, Gear Accelerator, like I mentioned before, it can special summon itself from your hand if you control a Gear monster. And another effect that it has is when it's sent from field to grave, you can target a level 3 Gear monster, it's level 3 Gear monster in your grave and add it to your hand. If I'm wrong about that and anybody's watching, please feel free to let me know. I don't have the card text in front of me, so I'm going off of memory here. Alright, and he summons Degusto Emerald, like I mentioned earlier. This is a great way to, reestablish a Gear. So he's going to put 2 of his Gear MK2s back in his deck, and it looked like he put I believe that was his one of his Gear Giants back into his extra, so he has that to use. Now it looks like we're going to stack into the Gear Giant he just put back, detaching to add to his hand, and he's going to bring back the MK2. And we're going to have... Let's see, we have Degusto Armor attacking for 800 over the MK2, and then Gear Giant X attacks for 200 over the Honor Arc, and then it looks like Joe passes his turn. So let's see, that's 800 and 200 is 1,000, so Chris is going to be down to 2,900 life points. And considering Chris is low on cards, he's really going to need something to get him out of this situation. He looks like he top decked that MK2, which is really going to help, especially if he has a Gear engrave, or if he wants to just simply make a rank 3 play here. I'm trying to think, good rank 3s to play in this situation. I don't think he had. I think if he has Acid Golem, that might be a possible option here because it's larger than anything that's on the board. Okay, he's bringing back an MK2. And there's the Acid Golem. Okay, so he's definitely looking to put a large monster out there to try and seize control of the game by just having something that Joe cannot clear. Alright, it looks like we are getting ready to enter the battle phase here. This is definitely a good back and forth matchup. And it looks like he attacked into the Gear Giant X for 700 life points, and Gear Giant X's effect, when it leaves the field, it's going to special summon a Gear monster, a level 4 or lower Gear monster from your graveyard. So Joe opted to special summon his Gear Giano because when the play comes back to his turn, he'll be able to use Gear Giano's effect to bring something out of his graveyard and definitely set him up. So Joe reactivates his second detach for Degusto Emerald, which is going to shuffle. I saw Gear Giant X and 2 Gear Arsenals or Gear Accelerators back into his deck to draw 1 card. With Pot of Avarice being banned, Degusto Emerald is really the only way you're going to be able to recycle cards like that, unless your deck has a mechanic that allows you to do that normally, something like Madolche. So right now he's got defense mode Gear Giano and attack mode Degusto Emerald, and he's facing down Lava Golem and a set back row, and Joe has the second MST for that back row, and that pretty much is just going to force Chris to concede the game. I don't know what kind of a follow-up Joe might have had, but Chris felt that he had, outside of having that 1 card MST'd and destroyed, he really had no play to follow up the Lava Golem, and that pretty much is going to wrap up game 1. So while they side, I'm going to throw up a commercial for you guys, and I will check back with you when game 2 gets ready to start.
If you're a gamer and looking for a hot new place with a friendly atmosphere to have some fun, get to Kirwan's Game Store.
This place has more things in one place and cleanly organized, which is very important than anywhere that I've been.
What I like most is that I can come here, and I come here 2 or 3 times a week, and I just make so many friends here.
Check out KirwansGameStore.com for upcoming tournaments. Kirwan's Game Store in Catskill, the best place in gaming.
Alrighty, welcome back. Right now it looks like these guys are putting the finishing touches up on siding right now. So, right now for the Gear Gear matchup, popular cards people are going to side things like Mind Crush. You potentially have the Black Horn of Heaven is a really huge card right now. If you're not maining it, you definitely have to side it. It definitely hits a lot of matchups. You know, being able to take, Gear Giant X off the board, or Exciton, or, if you're playing against Boojins, being able to counter their Susanowos, their Kagatsuchis, it's definitely a real power card right now. Looks like Chris has finished up his siding, and it looks like Joe is, making a few final decisions here. So, it looks like they're shuffling up, and we got... Alright, looks like they are finished siding and they're going to shuffle up. So I'm just going to once again welcome everybody to the live stream of the Legacy of the Valiant Regional here in Catskill, New York at Kirwan's Game Store, the best place in gaming. If you are interested in looking into Kirwan's Game Store, the website is right across the bottom there at kirwansgamestore.com. We also have a Twitter account, which is at Kirwan Game Store, and we are on Facebook at Kirwan's Game Stores. That's Kirwan's Game Stores with an S at the end. So it's facebook.com/Kirwan's Game Stores. And here we go. We're going to go to game 2. And it looks like, I believe Chris is going to go first. Going first right now is a pretty big advantage in the game right now. The loss of Heavy Storm saw a lot of people going to setting multiple cards on turn 1 and being able to establish without the fear of a massive board wipe definitely helps. The only thing I can think is if Joe wants to be risky here, he could try to make an Exciton play, which would put him down 1 card, allowing him the ability to activate Exciton's effect. But it looks like we have Gear Gear Arsenal summoned into a 5 back row from Chris, and it looks like we had an attack. Let me correct the life down here for you guys. Sorry about that. All right. Alright, it looks like Chris has taken 1,700 damage. So it looks like he let the Gear Gear Arsenal get its attack off. Which is, a very surprising thing, because normally when people see the set 5, a lot of people have the mentality to, maybe not attack because you've got all the protection. In main phase 2, Joe's going to tribute the Gear Gear Arsenal to special summon a Gear Gear from his deck and a special summon Gear Gear Armor. And it looks like he used its effect to flip it face down and set 3 and pass to Chris. Chris, in the end phase, is going to activate Gear Gear Gear, which is going to allow him a special summon of 2 Gear level 3 or lower Gear Gear monsters, and it's going to pump their levels up to 4. So we got Gear Gear and MK2. And Chris draws for his turn. I've got Chris 6,300 life to Joe Girlando 8,000. Joe is up game 1. We are currently in game 2. And it looks like Chris is contemplating what he's going to do. So he stacks right into a Gear Giant X. And Joe is going to flip the Solemn Warning. Now that is going to cost him 2,000 of his life points, but it's going to negate the summon, and Gear Giant's never going to hit the table, so it's never going to get its effect about special summoning a Gear monster. Chris follows it up, normal summoning an MK2, bringing back Gear Giano, and he's going to overlay to 3. And there is one of the more popular cards these days, and that's Ghost Trick Alucard. Rank 3, you can detach 1 material to destroy a set card on the field. He used its effect to target the face-down Gear Gear Armor, which in a lot of Gear Gear matchups, it's absolutely crippling if you don't have a follow-up play to, get your Gear armor back. And we have an end phase Call the Haunted, which was chained with a Vanity's Emptiness. Oh, and then we had trade 7 tools as well. It looked like Joe felt he was safe with the activating the 7 tools, and Chris followed it right up with the 7 tools of his own. So, and that will dodge the destruction effect of Vanity's Emptiness, because 7 tools resolves in Ascent to Grave before the Vanity's Emptiness resolves. So that is a huge power play right there, because Call the Haunted, I can see Joe's hand. Looks like he's got Book of Moon, MK2, and I think that's a Gear armor. Oh no, that's a Thunder King Ryo. Okay, or no, that is a Gear armor. Excuse me. So yeah, Joe was really hoping to get that Call the Haunted off. It was going to allow him. I would assume he would have either went another armor, or he would have went to probably the armor, because then he can use its effect to flip it down, flip it up, and search. So Joe is going to set MK2 in a back row. We have Alucard targeting the face down monster with his second detach effect to destroy set card, and any attacks for 1800. So that's going to knock Joe's life points right down to 3200 here. And then let's see what else we got. We got some. Chris followed it up with a couple of sets and a pass. Joe drew and set his hand on the table. I have to assume that's a Gear armor, which is actually a really good play when you think about it. He set the MK2, baiting out the Alucard detach. If that is the armor, that is a really good play, because against Gear, and if you have an Alucard, you're going to try and target the face down monsters, because you want to do your very best to try and clear those armors before they get rolling. All right. So Chris looks like he's contemplating what he wants to do here. Let's see what happens here. Let's see. Okay, we've got a Flip Dust Tornado targeting Joe's middle set card. Joe is debating whether or not it's the Book of Moon. Let's see if he chooses to activate. He chooses not. I believe he chooses not to activate, so he's going to let it be destroyed, and then it's going to be the Dust Tornado is going to be followed up with a Gear Arsenal. Using its effect, Chris is using its effect to tribute special summoning Gear armor from his deck. That right there is going to put Chris in a really good position, because that's going to get Chris's deck online and give him the ability to search. And then we have a Call the Haunted flipped, which is going to retrieve the Gear armor, or the Gear Arsenal, overlaying with the armor, and that's going to go to Daigusto Emerald, which is going to start becoming a mini Pot of Avarice, allowing him to shuffle monsters back. But Joe Girlando does have a Fiendish Chain, which is going to negate the effect of Daigusto Emerald, and it's going to prevent him from attacking as long as Chain is on the field affecting him. So right now it looks like Chris may be out of plays unless he's got a face down card that would help him in this situation. Looks like he just passed right to Joe, and Joe drew and set his draw into back row. We've got an Upstart Goblin activated on Chris's side of the field on his turn, which is going to net him another card out of his deck. Upstart Goblin becoming very popular thanks to Patrick Hoban. It looks like he just drew and set a monster. Let's see if Chris has anything else. He's looking through Joe's graveyard trying to decide if he wants to do anything. He just passes his turn. And Joe is going to flip over his Gear armor, and that's going to allow him to search, and this could potentially get Chris back, or get Joe back in the game against Chris. So let's see what he searches for Gear Accelerator. Alright, let's see. He special summons the Gear Accelerator, and that's going to give him the ability to make a rank 4 play here. Now, Chris, looks like Joe is just thinking about what's going to do the best job at getting him back in the game. Because right now, even though the card count is pretty much the same, you know, Chris does have a better established field, and the 2 set cards can definitely create a lot of hesitation in plays, because knowing you're pretty much down to your last card, you definitely want to make sure you make the right move at all times, because you don't necessarily have a fallback here. I think the best player here, well, actually he's got 6 to 6. The best play right now is if he had one less card, the best play would be to go. Actually, no, he could go to Exciton Knight, because Exciton Knight would lower his card count by 1. So if he went to Exciton Knight here and decided to activate its effect, all right, he does drop the Exciton Knight, and Chris does now have to think if he wants to respond. Let's see if he responds. If this Exciton goes through, this is definitely going to get Joe back in the game, because Chris does not have a hand, which means everything. Oh, and we have a chained gear to the summon. Okay. Okay, he swapped the detach. So he detached Gear Accelerator from the Evil Swarm. And that's pretty much going to force Chris to scoop right there. So that looks like Joe won the game right there. Oh, no, it's not a scoop. Excuse me. That just meant Evil Swarm Exciton Knight resolved, and then the Geargia's effect, which is a spell speed 2, was chained to the gear, allowing him to destroy the entire board and then get 2 Geargianos from his deck, stacking to Gear Giant X. That is a huge tempo swing right there, because now he's going to be able to tutor a card from his graveyard, and then he's going to be able to follow that up with a 2300 boss monster pretty much for the deck. So right now he's sitting on 2 cards in hand, which is MST and I think MK2, and Chris is top decking, and he just draws a monster and sets. So, he did. I was wondering why the Evil Swarm Exciton Knight left the field. Evil Swarm Exciton Knight staying on the field, that is huge. So Chris drew into a Fiendish Chain, which does kind of help his cause. It prevents the Gear Giant X from being able to search again, but staring down a field of 2300 and 1900 is still pretty rough. And, I mean, Exciton Knight, once it resolves, it pretty much puts the turn player in a position where he can pretty much start taking control of the game. So let's see what Joe's going to do here to follow up the Fiendish Chain on the Gear Giant X. I mean, he did, I believe he had an in-hand Fiendish Chain, so I'm kind of surprised he didn't have it, unless he set it before the Exciton went off. So he summons MK2, and he's going to bring out another MK2 to stack into a rank 3, and he's going to bring out Alucard. So, I mean, Alucard is going to attack with the Evil Swarm Exciton Knight, and that's going to be 3,700 life points right off the bat. So 37 is going to be 1,600 left for Chris. And Chris drew, and he scoops it right up. So we've got Joe Giorlando winning 2-0 in a Gear mirror match after resolving a pretty epic Gear chained onto or Evil Swarm Exciton Knight chained onto a Gear, which really helped break Chris's established field and just set him up for ultimate success. So with that being said, I'm going to hi everybody, welcome. I'm back, and today I've got with me somebody who has been doing this job a lot longer than me. I've got Joe Giorlando here. Welcome aboard, Joe. How you doing? So today we just saw you in round 1 playing Chris Woolheater in a Gear mirror match.
Absolutely.
So what kind of Gear deck are you playing, and why did you decide to play it?
I basically just copied Paul's deck.
Okay.
From the previous Las Vegas event, 3/7 tools,
Yep.
3 Black Horn of Heavens.
Okay.
I haven't been playing much. I literally just finished grad school last week, so I'm done with
Congrats.
classes. Yeah.
Are you graduating, or is it just for the year?
No, I'll be graduating May 17th, which is the
Awesome.
exact same day as YCS Philly, so I won't be at Philly, unfortunately.
Oh, that is unfortunate. We're not going to see you there, but I mean, obviously, you have a much better reason for not being
Yeah.
there. So
I'm excited.
We'll look forward to seeing you hopefully at the World Championship qualifier in Detroit.
I actually don't have my invite. That's why I'm here. That's
Oh,
why
wow,
I'm here.
awesome.
I haven't
So-
played the last year, really. Like,
Oh,
I've been
okay.
to one regional since last year's national.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully you get it here today. Hopefully we continue
Yeah,
seeing you on
that's-
the top table. So
I don't usually come out this far, but it was only 3 hours, and I actually need my invite. So that's why I'm
yeah.
here.
So the card choices you made, you pretty much just took Paul's deck and ran with it, or
Basically, I'm playing only 2 Fiendish Chains, and I put Mind Control in my deck. I just thought there'd be a lot of mirror matches. Game 1, turn 1, I opened with Mind Control. He had his armor set. So
I definitely saw that.
it's already paid off. I hate Fiendish Chain as a card anyway, so I was
Are you
for any
looking
reason not
forward
play it.
to the rise in the speculation that Breakthrough Skill is going to step in when the artifact movement hits after Primal Origins?
I'm more concerned with Dragon Legends or whatever that pack's
Yeah,
called coming
the
next week. I'm more concerned
Dragons
with
of Legend.
Curry Bandit and Soul Trudge. Artifacts were on the radar. Now I'm not even sure what to think.
Yeah.
Next weekend's going to be absurd.
I have to agree with you that that pack definitely, it started to have a lot of cute cards, and then for me it was when they put Soul Charge's effect out there that I just kind of sat there and said, what are you doing? But
It's like Dimensional Fusion.
Yeah,
Like
I
Dimension
mean-
Fusion. It's an interesting.
yeah, I mean, I
haven't played enough with it to know the best approach to utilizing it. It's obviously there's the obvious ones like plants and Dragon Ruler,
Yep.
but there are also a lot of underlying possibilities with it. So it'll be different to see
Yeah.
what progresses with that card in existence. 'Cause the person who can break the best way to utilize it will probably have the best deck and the best way to counter it also. So it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see how the format progresses. But now that that's a legal card.
Yeah, and I mean that's going to be released as of next Friday, I believe.
Yeah, and it's legal at the ARG Richmond event next weekend. So
Oh,
all of the
that's
cards
right,
are. So
that'll
that'll be the first time we see those cards legal for the first time. It'll be interesting to see who can afford them, who can get them, what
Yeah.
people come up with. We haven't had that much time to test with it in the first place.
Yeah,
We've only
'cause-
had a few weeks that we knew it was even coming out. A lot of times when OCG cards would come out, you'd have a long time to test them, hoping that
Because-
there would be no TCG cards that would change that much. But this time, it's literally a card, no effect like it really ever in the game since Defusion, and even that's a stretch. So
Yeah, I hear a lot of people comparing it to what you said, Defusion or Return from the Different Dimension.
yeah,
I
kindling,
mean,
similar effects.
yeah, rekindling, or I even know some people that refer to it as just it's a Monster Reborn or Premature Burial for pretty much any deck, because it allow you to because not everybody's going to bring out the 3, 4, 5 monsters. Sometimes just the 1 or the 2 will really help you get going.
There are a lot of interesting strategies you can utilize it with. I've been thinking about a lot of things. I mean, there's the plants, and that's the obvious
Yeah.
one. It's whether or not do you just go with something like the plant rulers, or is there actually something better that's more innovative, more unique, that can counter perhaps what most people will inherently go towards? That's the real question. I mean, we all know
Yeah.
that Lone Fire Soul Charges. That's good. The Dragon Ruler deck has been fairly good. It's been competitive. The Heretic version, various other versions, Mythic Dragons. I mean, we all know that these are playable decks in the format currently. We know that Soul Charge will probably put them to a higher level, but it's whether or not something else is out there that you haven't discovered yet.
Alrighty, so why don't we go back to the deck, go back to the round 1 there. I wanted to ask you if the Mind Control was your tech or Paul's. I have not seen his deck list in full, so I just wanted to ask if that's something that you put in because you felt it would give you a heads up game 1 in an expected mirror match.
I just thought it would be in the mirror match. I mean, it's a useful card in some matchups anyway. Any deck that has level 4s, and there are still some out there. Sometimes they have lingering pikes and lingering turges. I just thought there'd be a lot of mirror matches. It's really nothing more than that. And I don't like too many Fiendish Chains. It's just not a card I particularly like. I almost played a Needle Sealing in the main deck because I personally love Needle Sealing.
Yeah.
It's not very good in the mirror match. It has some applications because it can make stuff miss timing, but it's only so-so. So I decided not to run it.
All right. Thank you for stopping on down. I appreciate it. And, maybe if you don't unfortunately get your invite here, we can look forward to having you back down here. Maybe you can help me work a match.
Maybe, yeah,
One
absolutely.
One of these rounds. All right.
So-
Well, hopefully that doesn't come to the case. Hopefully,
hopefully
I get
not.
to see you stay near the top tables
Always let me
and to
try.
get your invite. Thank you for coming aboard. Thank you for sharing your insight with the audience, both on your deck and on the upcoming set Dragons of Legends. And I look forward to seeing what you and other players out there will be able to do with the cards that
I
are
am
coming.
too. I am
And
very interested.
I definitely look forward to seeing what you're going to do here in the
Awesome.
event. All right.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much, sir. And with that, guys, that was Joe Girolando here at Catskill Regional at Kirwan's Game Store. I'm gonna throw up another coupon code for you guys, and hopefully I'll be able to get round 2 for you in about 10 minutes. I will see you then.